Greetings, friends, and thank you for joining us once again here at the OR News broadcast. It is now time for our daily English Flash News edition. I'm Daniel Cook, your host. In today's news, two Albanian Marines were unfortunately killed during the rescue operation for the Norman Atlantic ferry. The accident happened while their towing crew was attempting to haul the burning ship to shore. Petrit Yahai, 59 years old, and Edmond Ilai, 57-year-old, were both tragically killed when a cable that was connecting the two boats snapped. The cable struck them with great force, killing one of them instantly. The other died of his injuries about 1 hour later. The two Albanians were part of the crew of the private towing boat Illyria, which was contacted by the Norman Atlantic ferry yesterday afternoon. The death of the Marines were confirmed by Colonel Ahmet Leka as well. He said that another towing boat was dispatched to bring the Illyria back to the Vlora docks. The bodies of the Marines have been sent to Vlora morgue. At least 10 people were killed in the catastrophe, but more than 400 were rescued after a fire broke out on the ferry in the middle of stormy seas. The number of passengers that are still missing has not yet been verified. The Italian prosecutor is asking the Albanian authorities to cease all operations for towing the Norman Atlantic ferry back to the shore. In a press conference, the Bari prosecutor indicated that the tugboat Illyria should not have been towing the Norman Atlantic at all, because it might interfere with evidence. The prosecutor has been tasked with uncovering the cause of the fire on board, and the towing of the ship was not welcomed by the Italian side. He claims that the ship is supposed to be towed to an Italian port. According to him, the shipping company that owns the Norman Atlantic sent out tugboats to move the ferry, although he had asked the Albanian officials to block the action. We don't know why they were trying to move the ship, but maybe it was to keep us from investigating it, the prosecutor said in the press conference. It is not clear whether the two Albanians who died were sent by the shipping company. He continued, "The military ship San Giorgio, on our orders, was controlling the area, and they received the command not to move until we had taken over the ship. We ordered the Brindisi towing company to haul the ship back to the Brindisi port. Once we got the okay from the Albanian authorities, we authorized the towing of the ship. No one could have taken possession of the vessel without the orders of the Bari prosecutor. Then it turned out that two Albanian towing boats were already trying to pull the ship toward the Albanian coast. We did not understand whether they were sent by the company or by the Albanian authorities," the prosecutor said. The Italian authorities did ask the permission of the Albanian prosecutor to take possession of the ship, as the ship was in Albanian territory. The Navy gave no further details on how the Albanian workers died. The Italian prosecutor's office has placed the owner of the ship and its captain under investigation for manslaughter and possible negligence that led to the disaster. The Italian Prime Minister has chosen to spend the very last days of the Italian EU presidency right here in Tirana. Prime Minister Renzi started his agenda by meeting with Prime Minister Edi Rama. After the meeting, the two leaders of the government held a joint press conference. Prime Minister Edi Rama expressed his esteem for Italy's support in Albania's integration. He said, "I want to emphasize that we held discussions on furthering our cooperation. We spoke about the effort that Albania is making to play a role in the integration of the whole region into Europe. We had the pleasure of sharing the positive feelings that we both have about the way we collaborated to save the lives of the people trapped on the ferry. Thanks to our joint efforts and the commitment of the Italian Prime Minister, we were able to save many lives." The Minister of Social Welfare and Youth is taking some action to remove Roma children from begging on the streets and get them into schools. Minister Arian Valiai has announced that the ministry will be giving $35 extra to the Economic Aid Fund for each Roma child who goes to school. Minister Veliaj sees this as a way to keep the Roma children off the street. Minister Veliaj chose to wait until the end of the year to give this news. He called on the Roma families to send their children to school and to keep them away from a life of begging on the streets. Roma families do profit from economic aid, but according to the minister, this is the first time in 24 years that extra funding is being offered to them. For the coming New Year celebration, the Ministry of Social Welfare delivered presents to 200 Roma children. The minister has expressed his thanks to those businesses that contributed. They were able to raise 10 million lek for children in need. It seems that even though the holiday is just hours away, the Albanians are purchasing only the most necessary goods. Even though we will be celebrating the New Year at midnight tomorrow, the Albanian spending is quite a bit lower than it was in the previous year. The capital markets indicate that purchases have been very moderate and that prices are increasing. Unlike usual, the holidays do not seem to be affecting the Albanian consumption. The traders say that the sales during the days leading up to the holiday have been about the same as any regular time. Regarding the increase of prices, the traders explain that there is always a tendency to increase prices just slightly at this time of year. Some of the citizens are complaining about the fact that the prices are increasing, and they are also demanding that the government should take action against this. But there are some citizens who say that the prices have not really changed at all. In every country of the world, and usually in Albania, there is an increase of consumption right before the holiday season. However, the difficult economic situation appears to be hindering that this year, and the Albanians are going to be celebrating a bit more moderately. Our very own news director, Dhjetor, has been given the prestigious award of Journalist of the Year. The iconic Albanian newspaper, Koha Jona, has selected the most influential dignitaries in the public life as they do every year. The newspaper, through an online survey, has selected the people of the year in politics, media, and business. The voters have selected Edi Rama as the politician of the year, Saimir Mane as the businessman of the year, and Dhjetor as the journalist of the year. The newspaper has evaluated the role and the activity of Dhjetor in the media. They have expressed their esteem not only for the significant example that she is of the triumph of the Albanian woman, but also for the intellectual values that she promotes in a society that aspires to European integration. The daily newspaper reveres the long professional career led by Dhjetor, who is currently heading the news department right here at Ora News. Since 2011, Dhjetor has hosted the show Tonight at Ora News. She has hosted many important people on the show, preserving her program as a place to protect the voice and interest of the citizens. Ilva is also esteemed for her contribution to important international media entities, such as Al Jazeera English and Merger Market, which is part of the Financial Times Group. The journalist Dhjetor has thanked the readers of Koha Jona newspaper, who voted for her as the Journalist of the Year. She sees this as an added responsibility. She says, "The year 2014 has not been easy for Albanian citizens and for the media. Numerous challenges and dilemmas have required answers through the professional and credible reports of the journalists. I hope that the public understands the difficulties that the journalists face, who are not immune to the problems that the country is having. Thank you to the president of Ora News, Mr. Iulian Droci, who has trusted and supported my efforts to bring journalism closer to professional standards in conditions in which television studios are influenced by politics and their interests." That concludes our news for this evening. Thank you for joining us. Please be with us again tomorrow at 6 p.m. for more Albanian news in English, right here on Ora News. Thanks, and good night.